Salam, and good day to you, worthy friends. Welcome to the city of flying carpets, soaring heroes, famous love ballads, and more glitz and glamour than any other fictional city in the world. Buckle up, folks, because we're about to grant ourselves 3 wishes. 1. To be informative. 2. To be funny. And 3. To somehow avoid getting turned into a snake. In the words of a genie, come on down, stop on by, hop a carpet and fly to another Arabian night. Folks, Aladdin is a stage musical with book, music, and lyrics by Chad Beguilin, Alan Menken, Howard Ashman, and Tim Rice. Now, based on the 1992 Walt Disney animation film of the same name, the story is set in the fictional Arabian city of Agrabah and follows the familiar tale of a poor young man who is granted 3 wishes by a genie in a lamp, which he uses to woo a princess and to thwart the Sultan's evil Grand Vizier. Now, the musical had its world premiere at the Fifth Avenue Theater in Seattle, Washington in and around July of 2011. The cast starred actor, puppeteer, and original voice of Jafar in the animated film, Jonathan Freeman, musical theater actor Adam Jacobs, musical theater actress Courtney Reed, Tony-winning actor, singer, and comic book writer himself, Mr. James Monroe Iglehart, and actor and filmmaker Andrew Keenan Bolger. Now, by November of 2013, with the production aiming for Broadway, it was decided to have an out-of-town tryout at the Ed Mirvish Theatre in Toronto, Ontario. The production team brought on Olivier and Tony-winning production and scenic designer Bob Crowley, as well as special effects creator and magical illusionist Jim Steinmeier, to help ready the production for New York audiences. Now, the pre-Broadway production in Toronto received mixed reviews. The Vancouver Sun said director Casey Nicola had served up a thoroughly satisfying confection for kids, who will no doubt delight in the swords, smoke, and spectacular tunes of Aladdin, and will leave the theater content to have been transported to a whole new world. Their parents? Maybe not so much. Now, as well as the Toronto Sun saying, in short, it's a visual assault that it doesn't so much draw one in as simply sweep one up in an overly long first act. With the exception of Iglehart's gigantically genial genie, there is no character in which an audience can make an emotional investment. No quiet moment that might allow any of the characters, good or evil, to exist in 3 dimensions. Okay, so the production team still had some kinks to work out, but what was to come out of that extra hard work? Well, let's just say the team was one jump ahead. In March of 2014, the cast would welcome Broadway audiences to the New Amsterdam Theatre for a night of high adventures inside the famed Agrabah, making anyone who's anyone certainly proud to be in attendance. The Broadway cast starred the same cast from the Seattle premiere, as well as welcoming actor and singer-songwriter Clifton Davis as the famous Sultan. Aladdin would later be nominated for 5 Tony Awards, winning only 1 for Agrabah's one and only genie. Now, fun fact here, the production continues wowing audiences on Broadway, and as of March of 2024, the production has played more than 3,500 performances. Guys, that's more wishes granted than a toddler at a birthday party, more magic carpet rides than a travel agent on vacation, and frankly, more times a whole new world has been sung than there are grains of sand in Agrabah, which, let's be honest, is a lot of sand. I mean, hey, Aladdin has been on Broadway for so long. The genie's starting to get carpal tunnel from all the finger snaps, and the magic carpet, well, it's due for a tune-up. And Jasmine's probably wondering, when can I finally get a new outfit? I mean, 3,500 performances? Folks, that's true commitment. Or maybe just a really, really long contract. Anyways, what did New York audiences think of the production? Well, the Broadway production received mixed positive reviews from critics. Elisa Gardner of USA Today gave the show 3.5 out of 4 stars and said, if Disney's theatrical's latest production doesn't sustain that frenzied high throughout, It delivers a rush that many surprise folks who attend either as chaperones or to relive their own youths. Now, Terry Teachout of the Wall Street Journal praised Iglehart's performance, especially during the number Friend Like Me. But he wrote the trouble is that nothing else in the first act can touch it. Adam Jacobs and Courtney Reed, who play Aladdin and his princess, are pretty but bland, and the temperature doesn't start rising again until the magic carpet ride, which comes after intermission and is the slickest thing to hit Broadway since the flying car in Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. Now, where Aladdin did excel was in Charles Isherwood's New York Times review, writing that this latest musical adapted from one of Disney's popular movies defied my door expectations. As directed and choreographed by Nick Law and adapted by Beguilan, Aladdin has had an infectious and only mildly syrupy spirit. Not to mention enough baubles, bangles, and beating to keep a whole season of RuPaul's Drag Race contestants in runway attire. So hey, what can I say? Both can transform a look with a flick of the wrist, but only one of them has to deal with a lamp. Though, let's be real, Ru's got a whole workroom full of them. So what do RuPaul and the Genie actually have in common? Well, they both deliver a "Shan't you stay?" or a "You're going home" with the same level of dramatic flair. The difference here is the Genie's home, well, it's in a tiny lamp, and Ru's is a multi-million-dollar empire. So, with a flick of the wrist, or shall I say, sashay away, we continue. By December of 2015, Aladdin would open a production in the New Flora Stage Theater in Hamburg, Germany, before transferring to the Apollo Theater in Stuttgart, starring European stage actor Ethan Freeman as the evil Jafar. I know what you may or may not be thinking. So wait, Jonathan Freeman starred as Jafar on Broadway, and Anthony Freeman stars as Jafar in Germany. Well, let me just tell you, they're not related. So you've got Jonathan Freeman, the OG Jafar, slithering his way through Broadway. Then you've got Ethan Freeman bringing the villainy to Germany. It's like a Jafar convention, but with better outfits and less parrot-related squawking. Though I bet they both have a killer Prince Ali reprise. One speaks English, the other German, but they both understand the universal language of evil. Well, the time had come in June of 2016 when West End audiences would welcome Aladdin to a whole new world, opening at Prince Edward Theatre. The West End cast starred actor and semi-finalist on Britain's Got Talent Dean John Wilson, British actress and former member of the girl group Sugababes, Jade Ewan, and Britain's own British Genie, who's more concerned with proper cueing and the correct way to brew a cup of tea than granting wishes, Mr. Trevor Dion Nicholas. Now, what's the difference between Aladdin on Broadway and Aladdin on the West End? Well, on Broadway, the Genie's got that big, bold American showmanship. On the West End, he's got that subtle, bit of magic in it charm. It's like comparing a fireworks display to a perfectly timed cup of tea. Both magical, but one's definitely louder. Again, Broadway's Aladdin is like a high-energy pep rally, while the West End's is a sophisticated soiree. The magic carpet ride on Broadway is a thrill-of-a-minute roller coaster. And on the West End, it's a leisurely afternoon flight with a spot of sightseeing. Both have magic, but the accents are completely different. So I guess to sum up what I'm trying to say is Broadway Aladdin, a whole new world. West End Aladdin, a rather pleasant new world, wouldn't you say? So, how do you top both Broadway and the West End's Aladdin? Well, you open in Australia. Because then the Genie can say, "G'day, mate. You got 3 wishes and they're all about to be fair dinkum." And when they sing A Whole New World, it's over the outback with kangaroos hopping along to the beat. Plus, the magic carpet, well, it's probably powered by Vegemite. Aladdin's Australia premiere opened at the Capitol Theatre in Sydney before transferring to Her Majesty's Theatre in Melbourne. The cast for both productions starred an Australian native who began his career as a member of Australian children's musical group High Five, starring in the television series and performing in international tours, Mr. Ainsley Melham. Now, fun fact, and should I also say touching fun fact, the Sydney and Melbourne productions performed an autism-friendly adaptation of the show, which had the removal of all strobe lighting and pyrotechnics, reduction of any jarring sounds, and house lights actually being dimmed instead of fully off to provide a more supportive environment for their autistic patrons. From 2017 up until present day, the production of Aladdin has toured over 6 different countries, landing in the Charlotte Theatre in Seoul, South Korea, where it still continues wowing audiences today. Now, I can say the production will wrap up at the Charlotte Theatre in June of this year, where it will transfer to Busan's Dream Theatre and continue its run beginning in July. So, to recap, you got Broadway's Aladdin, all glitz and glamour, doing high kicks and belting out power ballads. Then there's the West End's Aladdin, with its refined charm and perfectly timed wit, sipping tea between magic carpet rides. Australian's Aladdin is just pure unadulterated g'day mate energy, with a genie who probably surfs between wishes. And then you've got South Korea's Aladdin. Now imagine, the genie's doing a K-pop dance break during Friend Like Me. The magic carpet ride is synchronized to a light show that would make a K-drama finale look tame. And Jafar? Yeah, he's probably trying to steal Agrabah's entire skincare routine. They're all singing A Whole New World, but in Seoul, it's a meticulously choreographed, high-production, multi-sensory experience. It's almost like a Disney musical met a tech convention and they decided to have a baby that can fly on a rug. In all seriousness though, you've got Broadway. We're gonna make this show huge. The West End, let's keep it classy, shall we? Australia, throw another shrimp on the bobby, genie. South Korea, hold my kimchi. I'm about to drop the most epic magic carpet dance battle you've ever seen. They all have a genie, but South Korea's is definitely the one with the most impressive fan cams. Hey, just saying. Alright folks, that's a wrap on our magical adventure through Aladdin. Hopefully you've learned something, or at least hopefully laughed a little. Remember, even if you don't have a genie, you can still make your own magic. Just maybe avoid any shady viziers or giant bird encounters. And if you'd like to support the podcast, please hit the like button, probably one of the easiest ways you can support the channel, and leave a 5-star review. Or, better yet, send us a magic lamp. Until next time, guys, remember, a thrilling chase, a wondrous place for you and me.